I would like to call our budget hearing to order. Sheila, could you give us roll call, please?
Skip Baltic,
Present.
Angela Blasey,
Present.
Matthew Peterson,
Present.
Emily Garrett,
Present.
Joanne Green,
Present.
Cindy O'Connor.
Present.
Great. And we will roll right into the hearing. Well, let's see. I guess we need to do a motion on the notice of the budget hearing. So I will entertain a motion.
Talking about motion to approve the.
Yes.
application?
Isn't that what we're? Oh, no, this is just Stuart. Okay. Okay, sorry. I got confused.
Go ahead. Okay. I'm going to share my screen here. Last Thursday, we published our notice of budget hearing in the newspaper. Hang on here. And this was presented in the newspaper. I want to say thank you very much to the board members as we've gone through multiple meetings to discuss where the budget should be. And we'll also talk about property taxes here in a little bit. But just 3 points I want to make is number one, in the building fund, we'll be paying off the rest of Eisenhower, which is through ESSER money. And then by the end of this month, we should have everything taken care of for ESSERs. Second of all, with the new budget that we're proposing for 24-25, we will be putting money back in cash reserves for the district. And then finally, on the QC Puff budget, we will be paying off our last two bond payments here in December of 24 and December of 25.
Okay. Are there any questions for Stuart?
I don't have any. I think we had a pretty thorough discussion. What's 10 days ago now? 10 days ago during our work session. So, and I think all the questions that I had at that time got answered.
Okay, we'll move into the public comment portion. Public questions and comments may take place at this time in the agenda. Individuals who want to address the board must complete a guidelines for public comments form with the date, topic addressing, name, address, and name of any organization you represent and give it to the board clerk prior to the meeting. Sheila, do we have any?
I have none.
All right. We will adjourn our meeting then. Can I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Roll call.
Angela Blasey,
Aye.
Matthew Peterson,
Aye.
Emily Garrett,
Aye.
Joanne Green,
Aye.
Cindy O'Connor,
Aye.
Skip Baltic.
Aye.
Okay. So we adjourn that meeting and we will now roll into our set final tax request hearing. Roll call, Sheila.
Matthew Peterson,
Present.
Emily Garrett,
Present.
Joanne Green,
Present.
Cindy O'Connor,
Present.
Skip Baltic,
Present.
Angela Blasey.
Present.
Okay, Stuart.
I will once again share my screen here. Last Thursday, we also published in the newspaper our notice of publication for tax requests for the 24-25 school year. Couple of items I want to point out to you on this one is number one, our overall tax request will be decreased by 1.4%, which equates to approximately 420,000 decrease on our tax request. Second of all, you will notice on this publication that the levy will be decreasing by 10 cents for the 24-25 school year, which will be implemented in January of 25. But just a reminder, North Platte Public Schools sets the tax request and the county will set the levy in October.
Right.
Questions?
I just wanted to say that I appreciate the look at the overall numbers, and I think we've probably made some sacrifices, but appropriate sacrifices in this tax request and how we've kind of prioritized spending and funding. And so I think there was some confusion after our committee of the whole groups who were just looking at that levy that included our general fund and then our special building fund. But if you take into account the QC puff in there additionally and how we've kind of reallocated some things, that overall tax request, I think that decrease is something that we should be proud of. So I appreciate that.
Okay, we will move into the public comments section. Public questions and comments may take place at this time in the agenda. Individuals who want to address the board must complete a public comment form with the date, topic addressing, name and address, and give it to the board clerk prior to the meeting. Sheila.
I have none.
Okay, so I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Roll call.
Emily Garrett,
Aye.
Joanne Lingreen,
Aye.
Cindy O'Connor,
Aye.
Skip Alter,
Aye.
Angela Blazy.
Aye.
Matthew Peterson.
Aye.
Okay, and now, so we are adjourned, and now we will roll into our regular meeting of the Board of Education. Sheila, roll call.
Joanne Lingreen,
Aye.
Cindy
Or
O'Connor.
present.
Cindy
Present.
O'Connor,
Present.
Skip Alter,
Present.
Angela Blazy,
Present.
Matthew Peterson.
Present.
Emily Garrett.
Present.
I would like to thank you for attending the regular meeting of the board, and I would also like to remind you that school board meetings in Nebraska are meetings held in public, not public meetings. During the public comment section, the public may address the board on agenda items and other miscellaneous topics. And I would also like to review the purpose and direction for the North Platte Public School District, which is the purpose is to prepare all students to be productive, responsible citizens in a safe, caring, supportive learning environment. Our direction is to prepare every student for success through high quality educational programs delivered by highly effective educators who use innovative research-based strategies in a safe, supportive environment in collaboration with family, businesses, and community members. So also like to remind everyone that the Open Meetings Act is posted in the boardroom, and this legislates the methods by which public meetings are conducted. And now I will entertain a motion to approve the publication of the September 9th, 2024 regular meeting of the Board of Education.
I'll make a motion to approve the publication for the September 9th, 2024 regular meeting of the Board of Education.
Second.
Roll call.
Cindy O'Connor,
Aye.
Skip Alter,
Aye.
Angela Blazy,
Aye.
Matthew Peterson.
Aye.
Emily Garrett,
Aye.
Joanne Lingreen.
Aye. And that passes. And now I will entertain a motion to approve the agenda for the September 9th, 2024. Let's see, to approve the agenda for the September 9th, 2024 regular meeting of the Board of Education.
I motion to approve the agenda for the September 9th regular meeting for the Board of Education.
Second.
Roll call.
Skip Alter,
Aye.
Angela Blazy.
Aye.
Matthew Peterson.
Aye.
Emily Garrett,
Aye.
Joanne Lingreen,
Aye.
Cindy O'Connor.
Aye.
And that passes. Now, if you'll join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, and we will now move into the communications portion, and I'll invite Terry Burchell to the table.
Good evening. Thank you for having me. The foundation is working on the installation of Appcentria, which is the software for scholarships for the students. So we're very excited about that. We're hoping to have that live by mid-October. Students will be able to start a profile in their freshman year with the help of counselors as well. We'll have access to that software They can start building their profile with their activities and things like that. So by the time they're a senior, they can remember what they did when they were a freshman. So we're really excited about that piece as well. I think it's going to be evolving as we go and work with the district. This year, we're not going to be integrating a lot of data over. We're going to see how the software works and then work on that next year to do some integration. So it makes it even easier. And some of that basic demographic information, GPA, just kind of automatically comes over for that student, will be our end goal. So that all they have to work on is kind of an essay and a resume. And so hopefully that will make it easy. So we're very excited about that. And then a quick reminder, Change Wars is September 18th through the 25th. Again, all buildings will receive 70% of their earnings. We have over $2,000 worth of incentives to go across the district, from the top 3 classrooms at each building being recognized, teachers receiving some gift cards along the way, along with administrative assistants. Elementary winners will get some popcorn parties. The secondary schools will receive some pizza and donuts for their hard work during that week. And then, of course, we'll be basing the district building competition on their enrollment and figure that percentile out based on their enrollment so that it's fair for even the Lakes versus the Jeffersons and versus the high school. So, and have some money there for each building to be able to use towards what they would like to. So hopefully I'll get to hear some interesting ideas of what they're going to do with their money. Last year, we raised over $16,500 that we were able to put 70% of that back into the district. So we're excited every year for Change Wars. Following Change Wars, we'll be celebrating that with a march on October 4th. But prior to that, we'll have a tailgate. This year, we're not doing a competition. So we're scaling it down and going to a competition maybe every other year and doing just a basic tailgate with sandwich and chips. Westfield still would like to provide some desserts. And then we have a donation for some pop and water as well. So hopefully you can join us. We're just going to charge $5 and take free will donations on October 4th. And Nebraska Land Bank is back for Movie on the Field on October 16th. If you haven't voted, go out to their Facebook page. They have 3 movies that they're choosing from. Gates will open at 5:30. We'll start showing the movie at 6. Journalism will benefit from the concession stand for free will donations. The bank will be there to grill up some hamburgers and hot dogs. So always a good time. And journalism is very excited to have some extra funds put into their account. And of course, leading up to the most fun part of the month is recognizing district employees. Prairie Friends and Flowers and Midlands Family Medical partnered with us for August. We've kind of changed that each month we're going to be going to a different school to recognize a teacher and a staff person or classified person. And so, of course, August was Adams, and we've got 2 exceptional employees, and I would love to have Mrs. Brocious come forward to tell us more about these wonderful employees, Tiffany Johnson and Maddie Rowe.
Good evening. The employees of the month is Tiffany Johnson. Tiffany has been with the district for over 29 years. Presently, she is an 8th grade English teacher. She has been very instrumental in new curriculums and helping our new teachers come into the district. She's been a mentor for several years, as well as being one of our leads in our SIP team and our MTSS team. Madeline Rose, or Maddie, has been with the district for the past 4 years. She works with the Life Skills Paraprofessional. Life Skills is our Resource 3, which has our children that have significant disabilities. So those with wheelchairs or with like Down syndrome and stuff like that. So she goes into the classroom with them as well as does other things to help them. Both ladies have been very dedicated educators at Adams, and we're very thankful for them.
Give them a round of applause.
Thank you. I told you. Go back. There. Okay, great. Thanks, Ariel. Thank you. Michelle has a squad waiting for you. Look, we're going up now.
Now we will move into our consent agenda. Our adopted rules of parliamentary procedure, Robert's rules, provide for a consent agenda listing several items for approval by the board by a single motion. Documentation concerning these items has been provided to all board members and the public in advance to assure an extensive and thorough review. Items may be removed from the consent agenda at the request of any board member. So I'm going to read through the items on the consent agenda. We have approved the minutes of the August 12th, 2024 regular meeting of the Board of Education. Approved the minutes of the August 21st, 2024 budget work session. Approved the minutes of the August 29th, 2024 Board of Education Committee of the Whole meeting. Approved the administrative contract for Colette Sauer effective August 8th, 2024. Approved the teaching contract of Kendra Burkholder beginning on August 21st, 2024. And approval of the financial claims and reports, which I believe was Cindy and Matt this month. Is that right? Okay. Are there any questions? Okay. I will entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Roll call.
Angela Blazy,
Aye.
Matthew Peterson,
Aye.
Emily Garrett,
Aye.
Joanne Lund,
Aye.
Cindy O'Connor,
Aye.
Skip Alter.
Aye.
And that passes. So we'll move into our reports and discussion items, and we'll start off with a safety and security report. We have Officer or Investigator Bolander and Miss Brandy Busher.
I am not Jeremiah Johnson. I'm prettier, just wanted to let you know.
Okay. Sergeant Johnson got married this weekend, so we gave him a break today. So Investigator Bolander is joining me. Okay, we can get started. This will be kind of brief. When we talk about school safety, we're always balancing a lot of things. We balance technical safety, operational safety, and then really just personal safety. So we'll kind of briefly go over those three areas of school safety. And so when we talk about our technical safety, cameras, we have cameras at all of our buildings. Even McKinley has a couple cameras. We use the cameras
Religiously, even
All the time?
outside of school functions, we use them in law enforcement as well for anything that may occur on school property outside of the school year as well. So they're used quite a bit.
Mhm. And we've upgraded some of our cameras. We added some cameras at Jefferson last year, which was really helpful. We noticed there were some spots where we just couldn't quite see the whole playground. So it was really helpful to get a couple additional cameras at Jefferson. And then we have our Raptor system, which is a check-in system. So all visitors have to have their driver's license to check in. And it does run kind of a quick background check on them. So if they have, if they're a registered sex offender or if they have a warrant, I believe are the two things that Raptor will pop up. And then also Raptor can alert, we get text messages if something's wrong, if there's like something's not right with a background check. All of us will get a text message that say we need some assistance at this school. If it's a registered sex offender, it'll say there's a registered sex offender trying to check in at this building. So it notifies us immediately. It's a really good system. That's at all of our schools, and all of our staff also Raptor in when they come into a building. So we know who's in a building. and then they wrapped her out when they leave. So something that we are really good about too, especially at the high school, they are always looking to make sure that our hallways are labeled. So you know when you're looking down the hallway, where you're going, like what that pod is and what classrooms are in that pod. And then our exterior doors are labeled. That's something for our first responders. If they have to respond, there shouldn't be a lot of confusion as to where they're going into a building. And then our secure entrances, all of our, every building has a single entrance point for the outside community. So we do have a couple entrances for staff, but as far as like the high school, even it's one door that our community members come into. Anything additional you have on? No? Okay. And then we have our reporting app, which is see something, say something. That is an app that goes through our Crime Stoppers. So it goes directly to, I believe it's Officer Johnson, or do all three of you SROs receive?
Yeah,
Okay.
so we received, all of us SROs receive text messages for any reports that are made through that app.
And that's an anonymous reporting line. So if somebody just is afraid to say something, they can go on there to report. We also have alarms on up at the high school, Adams and Madison. There's alarms on the doors. If you exit out a side door, an alarm's going to go off and notify the front office. And then our rave panic button. That's something it's an immediate assistance. So it's an app on all of the teachers' phones that they can hit for immediate assistance. They can hit it for an active shooter. It goes directly to law enforcement. That's very important. If there was an emergency, it would notify staff immediately that there was something wrong in the building, and staff would know prior to even an announcement going over the intercom. Okay. And then operational safety, that's kind of like the stuff we practice. So that's our drills, our procedures. SRP is standard response protocol. Officer Johnson and I are trained to teach standard response protocol. All staff has been trained in standard response protocol, and then we train all new staff when they come in. We train them in the summer when the new teachers are getting trained. We also have a plan if we ever have to relocate from a building. We have a plan, and we work with our relocation site yearly and go over that with them so they know exactly what that would look like. And then every building has a safety plan template. That's what you guys will be approving tonight. But that's just so there's some uniformity in like our safety plans, so they all look the same, and everybody kind of knows like where to go to find what they need. If when you're in an emergency, it's not easy to always like thumb through things, so everybody kind of knows exactly what that template looks like. Anything you have to add on that?
Yeah, with like the elementary schools, we have our emergency response teams too, so they all have an idea as to what to do in an emergency situation, whether it's medical, whether there's an active threat. We have a set group of people who are aware of what to do in those moments, especially if we have an emergency.
Yeah. Some of the other things we just work on is we've done tabletop exercises. We did one. It's been over a year ago where we did in the summer, we just brought all the buses to see like how long would it take us to evacuate the high school. We didn't actually have students, but we brought buses and then we took them to our relocation site just to kind of have an idea of time frame and like what that would look like. It helped our bus drivers to develop a route that they would take to get to the reunification site. In 2022, Officer Johnson and I attended a national safety summit. That was really helpful, learning a lot. School safety is always changing. Like there's always some new technology or always something new. We work with our first responders. They're all trained in SRP, so they know the language. They know what a lockdown is. They know what a hold is, and they know what a secure is. And then just communication with our local agencies. Like if we were ever have to go into a reunification, we would rely on some of our community partners to help us. So we have relationships. We have local mental health therapists that know if they get a call that they will respond and help out in a situation if needed. And then personal safety, we have Gaggle, which is a safety filter on all of our student computers, and that is going to pick up on any type of a search or conversation that could potentially be about self-harm, or if someone was searching about a weapon or anything like that. So we get multiple gaggle alerts a day.
Yeah. Keywords will trigger it. I mean, even if it's just the word itself, it'll notify us who sent it and when it was sent. So.
Yep. And every single one is resolved. So even if it's lyrics to a song, someone makes communication with that child just to double check and make sure that's what it was. We also do a threat assessment team. So if we were to have a threat, if a student were to make a threat, we have a very lengthy process we go through to make sure that that student is safe to be in school. And it involves going into a student's home as well and searching the home with law enforcement. And home visits, that's another thing we do just for mental health sake. If we have a student that we haven't heard from or seen in a few days, if we haven't heard from parents, then either we go with the SROs or the SROs go without us, but we check in on kids to make sure everybody's doing okay. And the other piece is a reporting center. If we do deem that maybe a student is not safe to be in school, or if we have to do an expulsion, we send them out to the reporting center, which is a place they check in with adults and they're supervised during the day. If they don't go out there, we get notified that they're not there. And it's just kind of good to have that information. And it's nice to know that kids are still getting their education, even if they're not on site. Ongoing services, quite often, if we do a threat assessment, we will determine like a mental health evaluation is needed or ongoing counseling services. And we as the school will provide that if we feel that's necessary through a threat assessment process. And then in our buildings, we have bullying forms as well that we encourage students, parents to fill out if they feel like they're having a hard time with other students. They can fill out those forms and turn them into the office. And I think that's it. You guys have any questions for us?
So I just had two. One was the See Something, Say Something app. Is that getting used?
It's more for like the Crime Stoppers tips that we receive. So we have an actual website or a phone number that can be used by anybody, whether it's students, staff, faculty, and anybody in the community. All they have to do is get in touch with whatever they want to use, whether it's making a phone call or an email, and just give us the information that they have. That's more or less what it is. I don't know if you're referring to anything beyond that.
I think she was thinking if like there's like somebody wants to report a threat, like a school threat.
Okay.
To answer that question, I don't think we've had that this year. In the past, yes, we've had people send in tips. There is a line that Nebraska Department of Ed is encouraging. I think it's called Safe to Talk. That's actually goes through Boys Town. So that's something we're going to kind of review this year and decide if we would like to move to that or if we want to just keep it in-house. I think there's pros and cons to both of, when it goes to someone in Omaha, are they going to always know the background or the context, whereas our local people do? So it's something we'll probably review to see which one we think would be a better option.
And then the other question was, I think I had asked about mid-year training, especially for paras. Is there something in place for that?
Yeah.
now?
We will be doing a training. We did one last year in January. So we will be doing another training again for paras. And then we usually include substitute teachers on that too, if they want to attend.
I guess I just thought of this. Do student teachers participate in those types of things too?
I don't know. No.
Okay. All right. That's all the questions I had. Does anybody else have questions?
I don't have a question, but Officer Belander, I just had a issue with a parent contacting me, and you had replied to them with just helping them out with their concern. And you had mentioned that you got to use the cameras and see the issue, and that meant the world to that parent. So thank you.
Yeah, I found that a lot of times taking that extra step definitely puts a lot of parents' minds at ease with situations their kids might be involved in. So it's definitely been an asset to our schools to have those cameras and have our security measures in place. So thank you.
Can you remind us again? I know you talked about this last year, but at the high school, the smoke detectors aren't just smoke detectors anymore. Is my understanding, is that correct?
They're fancy smoke detectors.
Yeah. Fancy smoke.
So they'll detect vaping, but also if there's a really loud noise in the bathroom. So if there was a fight that like caused if people were yelling, it's going to detect a loud sound. Also, like if there were dust coming from the, like, so sometimes when there's an active shooter situation, the ceiling tiles create dust. They would pick up on any type of dust or debris that would be coming down from the ceiling as well. And it alerts, it's
Yeah.
immediate.
They're very sensitive, but they're very effective. And we use those as well quite a bit in the schools. So they're a good tool.
Are those just in the high school?
And
No,
in the
that
junior
one.
highs too, as
In
well, in
Madison
the
and
middle
Adams.
schools. Yeah, we use them all the time.
Okay. Any other questions?
No, I just think a lot of people, I believe, have an understanding we don't do a lot with safety. And I think reports like this really shows that how much we do take it seriously and how much we have all these things in place to take care of them. So thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you guys for all you do. I mean, unfortunately, we've seen recently what can happen. And so, and I know we'll be voting on the SRO contract tonight, but I think the three of you are such an integral part of our district. So thanks for everything you do. And you too, Brandy. I mean, you're not an SRO, but we still appreciate everything you do.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you. We appreciate it.
Thank you. All right, Stuart, you're up again. We're gonna do the monthly financial and budget report.
So. First of all, I want to remind everybody that the auditors will be in on September 25th and 26th to review the financial operations of the district. I've already set up with a board member to come in and meet with the auditors. I'm just verifying the time at this point in time. Second of all, this one does not show what we're required by the state auditor is to accrue our August collections, which are paid in September upon our financial report. So once we get the tax collections from the county, those will be accrued. So then therefore, when the auditors come in, all the books are ready to go and be reviewed. And then finally, I have on the screen, I call it my Schedule 1. It just really gives me a quick summary of where everything is. But I just want to remind you, when we're looking at cash reserves, not only do we look at the general fund, but we're required to look at depreciation and employee benefits. When we have to submit our budget to the state and we go through this LC2 process, they take into account what we have in depreciation and employee benefit in the process. So no matter what, I always try to look at that number to make sure where we are as our cash reserves. Other than that, you will see the cash flow, and I'm not going to bring up that chart. You can look at it on your own, but that really just shows right now where we are until we get that accrual on the books soon here.
And that's part of the reason we're seeing a lot of the red.
Right.
Right, on the disbursements is because we're waiting for that.
We're waiting
payment
for
to
that
come in.
transaction.
Okay.
Sorry, questions?
All right, we'll move on to the facilities update, Mr. Simpson.
So we had a myriad of construction that was going on this summer. And so we'll take it from the PAC. We approved bids a year and a half ago, and it took a while to get all of the product in. This summer, Halls got in, and that was completed, and everybody that attended the back to school kickoff could see the lights and production that went on. Right now, we're just waiting for final bills to come in on the PAC. Then we had Jefferson Elementary, which we received a grant for safety and security to ensure that as people go in there, and I'm glad Brandy and Jerem and Officer Bolander was here, because that sort of addresses how we're keeping safe and secure in our buildings. That project has completed, and once again, we're just waiting for bills to come in. But if you do go over and visit Jefferson, you will go in on the south side of the building and you'll have to enter a secure entrance and then they'll buzz you into the office and then from there usher you into the building itself. So very good. We're pleased on how well it turned out. The next piece was our activity office and working with the high school principal, he wanted to create a dynamic where we had all the administrators in one location instead of the activity office off across the commons. We've been working with a contractor on that and it's completed. Our activity director is in their office at this point in time. And once again, we're just waiting for final bills to come in. The other one was our welding and 22 years, Skip. That welding has been, the ventilation system has been in there. And so we went through and we had a lot of issues with our ventilation system in the welding. And we went through this summer and got our welding upgrade. And in that, the ventilation system was completed a week ago, and I know our students are back in there working away as far as welding is concerned. And once again, we're waiting for final bills on that. So, and then finally, the big one that I talked about with our budget is ESSERS. Eisenhower, per the bids that we approved back in February, is that project will be done here soon. Everything is taken care of except maybe a few minor windows at Eisenhower. And then we're just having some discussions with Train in regards to a board that has to go into the 5 units that are on the roof. And that just is a discussion that's going between us, our architect, and Train to get that taken care of. But other than that, Eisenhower is operating and students are getting educated at this point in time. So we just have final bills to come in. But if anything, we'll be holding back 10% until we can do final walkthroughs on both the activities office, Jefferson, and Eisenhower.
So I just wanted to note, I was able to see inside the office of Jefferson before they were able to move in. And I think it's really neat how there are conference rooms, just small meeting rooms that have been built into that office space and talking to the administration there. I guess those rooms are utilized often for people that come into the building to meet with students for various reasons. And sometimes I was told that even I think they have 2 rooms there and sometimes even they don't have enough space. And so the old principal's office maybe was going to be potentially utilized for that as well. So I think it'll be really useful and nice to have a more secure entrance on that building.
Right. And that'll just set the standard for the district down the road as we take a look at other buildings. And hopefully the state issues more safety and security grants at this point in time.
Any other questions?
I just keep watching the windows go in at Eisenhower. You know, one day they were all boarded and then next time there were like 2 windows and then there were 3, now there are 4. Now I know right on the corner, there's still a board, but progress.
Yes.
Stuart, I know we had talked, I think this was a couple months ago that it was brought up, and I think after our external visit and some of our other things that took place, are we working on or have worked on or will be working on a facilities master plan? Would you update us on that maybe?
Yes, we do have a facilities master plan drawn up. Dr. Rhodes and I have it sitting on our desk. We really want to take a good thorough look at it and then bring it to you before anything. But obviously we still have, we want to make sure everything's added before we bring it to you because there's many items out there that are done. So preliminary right now, but we do have something drawn up.
Sounds good.
Very good. All right. Any other questions before we move on? Okay, we'll move on to the superintendent report.
Thank you. Just a few items. Several weeks ago, in one of the weekly updates, we included a memo from Steve Williams through KSB. Now, Steve is the attorney with KSB that really is contract law. And so we deal with Steve when we're dealing with contracts and those different issues. So main point of this particular item, I really would like you to look that memo over. I would like to have a pretty thorough discussion at the September Committee of the Whole. We will be providing you some numbers on the cost of Osgood at this point. For several years, we did have our half-day preschool program out at Osgood, and we moved that into Buffalo for this school year. So there are no students at Osgood currently. We have 2 office spaces out there that are utilized. Head Start has an office out there. And then Val Hyde, who is the executive director for Community for Kids, also offices out of there. So I think we feel like we can find some office space for those 2 people down the road. But we'll be giving you some cost on again annually what it costs us to keep that building. Quite honestly, I think we would be ready to provide this board a recommendation to move that property on. The decision that we're going to need to make is how you want to sell that property. And I think it's pretty clear from the memo that Steve says the best 2 options are most likely to auction or to take sealed bids. And we auctioned off Hall Elementary, several years ago. And Mr. Simpson and I were visiting about that when that was auctioned off. And the auctioneer really did a nice job in letting the folks that were bidding on that take some time. They took some breaks, and I think we got some pretty good dollars for that facility out there. Again, I would like you to look that memo over. We'll put it on the Committee of the Whole. I think from a timeline standpoint, if we recommend to move that property and the board agrees and approves that, you're probably looking at spring for a sale. So, for taking action, we're probably looking at November, December to take action on that. And then we can get everything ready in terms of what that's going to look like, whether it's auction or sealed bids. So, any questions on that particular item?
Is it the district's job to house Head Start and Communities for Kids?
Well, not necessarily. But I think it's good to keep those support people, within the district. We wouldn't necessarily have to. We actually had thought about moving the Head Start director to Buffalo. We're just trying to find out the right space at Buffalo for her to office out of there. And we're not so sure, actually Val probably works at home more than she works out of the office. So we most likely could find some office space here at McKinley for Community for Kids too.
I thought Steve's memorandum was very thorough.
Yeah.
I read it twice, What I like is he doesn't get real legalese on it. I could understand everything he was saying, but I think it's very thorough. Explains all the options in good detail.
Okay, just a little bit of an update on the 2025-2030 strategic plan. Our action teams had their first meeting on September 4th, last Wednesday. So really the work for that evening was to kind of unpack the strategy that each one of those action teams had, and then to develop research questions in terms of that particular strategy. So we will be meeting with action teams again this Wednesday, September 11th. Some of those team members probably have already done their research on their particular research question. They were assigned different questions. And then others, it'll be a work session to where maybe we can help identify where they can find some of the answers to the research questions. So the intent of breaking down the strategy and doing the research is then to develop a specific action plan for each one of the 3 strategies. So we have 12 to 14 people on each one of those action teams. And we have really good representation from external stakeholders as well. We had invited a lot of people to be on those three teams from an external standpoint. And we're fortunate that we did get some of those people to say yes to us. So we have some parents on there. We have some business people on there. And so that's been really nice to have those. Those meetings are 2-hour meetings. They go from 6 to 8. We've got 5 left, 4 after this Wednesday. And by the time that group is done, they'll have those action plans developed. And then, of course, the big committee comes back together in January. And then they add those actions in, and then the draft will come in front of the board. Probably might be at the January board meeting, but definitely in February for a potential approval of the new strategic plan there for 2025. Okay. And then the last thing, just a little, the SRO contract is attached to the action item. If you remember a year ago, we did add that third SRO. We added Investigator Bolender to kind of help at the elementary level. Just been amazing. And just so the board knows, we do have a new SRO at Adams that covers Adams and Madison. And that is Officer, I hope I said this right, Fowkes is over at Adams. It used to be, we had Officer Little over there for the last couple of years, and he wanted to go a little bit different direction. And so really fortunate to have Officer Fowkes. Actually, there were 3 or 4 people that applied for that with the police department. So we're just really, really fortunate to have a great relationship with the city of North Platte and with the North Platte Police Department. So when we start to look at contract, it's a 2-year contract. It's a hair south of $274,000 a year for each one of those years through 2026. That's basically 75% of their salary with the PD. But you need to keep in mind that Sergeant Johnson actually offices full-time out of the high school, and that includes the summer months. And so we have his assistance and support through the summer months as well. The other 2 just are on site when we have students. So I would agree with Mr. Peterson. I think it is, in this day and age, it is certainly money well spent in terms of supporting, protecting, helping our students and our staff across all those buildings. Questions for me? Okay, thank you.
All right, we will move on to the public comment portion. Public questions and comments may take place at this time in the agenda. Individuals who want to address the board must complete a guidelines for public comments form with the date, topic addressing, name, address, and name of any organization you represent, and give it to the board clerk prior to the meeting. Sheila.
I have none.
All right, thank you. So we will move into our action items. And the first action item is to request approval of the 24-25 North Platte Public School District budget of disbursements and transfers. So I'll turn that over to Mr. Simpson.
I'm not going to bring it up at this point in time, but you've seen it. You do have it attached if you'd like to look at it, but really we're just looking at approval for the budget of expenditures for the 24-25 school year. And once again, I just want to thank everybody. We did roll up our sleeves and went through various renditions of the budget over the course of the last 3 months. And so in that, I want to say we've come to a really good conclusion on where the budget will be for the next year.
Any questions or comments?
No, I think as Skip mentioned earlier, I mean, we've been talking about this for months now, and especially this 10 days ago, we had a really thorough discussion, but I agree. I think this was a good board discussion throughout the entire process. I think we found some common middle ground here where we all feel comfortable with where we're sitting. Again, I just want to thank Stuart and Dr. Rhodes. I know you guys have spent a lot of time the last few months going over these things, looking at different expenditures. When Cindy and I did the audit on Friday, we had a good another good discussion about this, and you guys have certainly had tough conversations with administrators and building principals about the different direction that I think the board's wanting to go with certain expenditures. And so I know that everyone has kind of been involved in the discussion. I know you've had a lot of discussions with your ad hoc committees and at the director level. So I just appreciate not only what the two of you have done, but all the discussion we've had throughout the district.
Yeah, I really appreciate you looking at this and tightening the belts and stuff as far away from the classroom as possible. I like that.
I would echo those comments. I think that this has been a good foundation for us to have some probably much needed discussions and to come to I think probably a point of consensus as a board. I feel really good about our tax requests. I think probably as we go through the next couple of years, I don't think a budget is something that is just like one and done and we're good. So I do still think we probably have some room to, we've had discussions about things like activities and uniform replacements and maybe increasing our revenues in areas so that we don't have to transfer as much over and different things. So I still really would like to see that work and those discussions continue through this whole year. So hopefully we come back next year and can maybe have made some improvements and have some good conversations as well. But I think this is a really good starting point for making that happen. So thank you guys.
I think it probably bears repeating just so, our public knows that the thing that's really, really good about this budget is we're going to increase cash reserve.
Yeah.
To the tune of about $500,000. And we're still keeping those funds in the special building fund. So, if something happens with roof replacement or HVAC, those are kind of the two that really get high dollars. We're going to have some of those building funds. So I really appreciate those two items within this budget as well.
Yeah, I was just going to bring that up. Yes, the reserves and the areas so that if we do have something that happens that we have no control over really, that we have the money there to take care of it. So I thought the discussion was great. I said that earlier, and I thought, the way that especially you two worked on this so well and did a nice job. And I'm real pleased with this. I really am.
I just wanted to add that I echo the comments, first of all. Second of all, just really thankful for the work Mr. Simpson and Dr. Rhodes and the board have done on this. There was a time when I was a little bit nervous about what the budget was going to look like and what it was going to look like for us for this next year. I know a lot of the board members have heard me talk about how I took a class this summer and I am taking classes that are actually in another state and was able to see some of the ways that the schools in that state function. And we were kind of headed in a similar direction, I felt. And so I'm really glad that we avoided that and that because I didn't really like what I saw in the other place that I was looking. So really, really grateful that everybody came together and that we were able to do this for the children of North Platte. So I will entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to request the approval of the 2024-2025 North Platte Public School District budget of disbursements and transfers.
I second.
Roll call.
Matthew Peterson.
Aye.
Emily Garrett. Joanne Lynn Green.
Aye.
Cindy O'Connor.
Aye.
Skip Alton.
Aye.
Angela Blazy.
Aye.
And it passes. So now we will move to the request for approval of the 24-25 property tax request resolution. Mr. Simpson.
I'm not going to bring it up, but in that, just a reminder, we were tied to some state statutes in regards to the 5% property tax lid. And that was, talking with legal counsel. And I want to, Dr. Rose and I want to say thank you to the executive team, Emily, Joanne, and Cindy, as we walked through this process, where we have to be on property taxes to support this budget. And do the requirements and the stringent requirements that were set up by them. It was a 7-day notice, and we just couldn't get it into the paper because of Labor Day and a few other items. So just to make note for the board, we will have a special meeting on the 26th to address that 5%. But in this is the direction that the executive team came up with for supporting our budget. Number one, as Dr. Rhodes mentioned, the building fund, as well as putting money in our reserves.
So that's the night of the committee of the whole meeting.
Yeah.
So we're still going to meet at 5:30. We've got a special notice that I think we've already submitted to the papers. So we'll satisfy that 7-day statutory requirement. It's really some strange language in LB 243. And I think that was can't remember what Senator
Breezy.
Yeah, it was a Breezy bill. And they did not say the number of days. They just say a week. It's got to be a week. And so when we knew we weren't going to make the week, we did get on the phone with legal, and we also called Bryce at NDE to see what their definition of a week is, because we were going to be at that 5-day mark like we were with the other two. So your other notices are a 5-day, and you can use the day of the notice, so it's actually 4 days, and this one is 7 days. So there just was the timeline. There was no way we could have it for tonight. So there'll just be that one item on that special meeting, and it'll be to recommend approval of the 5%. So that'll be at the special meeting, and then we'll move into the committee of the whole. And I would echo what Mr. Simpson said. The exec team really had a nice idea to have it as a separate item from that committee of the whole. We tried to really make the committee of the wholes a non-voting meeting. So that'll be kind of how that plays out at the end of the month then. That still gives Mr. Simpson that Friday and Monday to get the budget submitted. So we're okay.
Get everything set to the.
But you'll have it
auditor's office.
probably all
Yeah, we'll be ready.
We'll be
there.
just
Yeah.
ready to
just
hit.
wait for the vote and then,
And all three of those entities are
Yeah, they'll
electronic
get sick.
submission.
Yeah.
okay,
So
all right.
Wheel me in on a wheelchair. Yeah. Otherwise, just remember, no matter what, we are reducing property taxes that Emily mentioned by 1.4%. So.
Any questions or comments? Okay, call for a motion.
Whereas Nebraska Revised Statute 77-1632 and 77-1633 provides that the governing body of North Platte Public Schools passes by a majority vote a resolution or ordinance setting the tax request, and whereas a special public hearing was held as required by law to hear and consider comments concerning the property tax request. Now therefore, the governing body of North Platte Public Schools resolves that 1, the 2024-2025 property tax request be set at general fund $29,534,859, bond fund 0, special building fund $757,576, qualified capital purpose undertaking fund $263,863. 2, the total assessed value of property differs from last year's total assessed value by 8.64%. 3, the tax rate, which would levy the same amount of property taxes as last year, when multiplied by the new total assessed value of property, would be 0.971513 per $100 of assessed value. 4, North Platte Public Schools proposes to adopt a property tax request that will cause its tax rate to be 0.958154 per $100 of assessed value. 5, based on the proposed property tax request and change in other revenue, the total operating budget of North Platte Public Schools will decrease last year's budget by 7.72%. 6, a copy of this resolution be certified and forwarded to the county clerk on or before October 15th, 2024.
Second,
Roll call.
Emily Garrett,
Aye.
Joanne Lingreen,
Aye.
Cindy O'Connor,
Aye.
Skip Baltic,
aye.
Angela Blazy,
Aye.
Matthew Peterson.
Aye.
And that passes. So we will now move into the request for approval of the school resource officer contract. And Mr. Simpson, do you have anything to add?
Yeah, just, I just want to make a note that Dr. Rhodes covered everything. The only thing that we have sort of separate from the financial consideration is sort of a outline that we work out with our SRO or the city and North Platte Public Schools, sort of like what we do with student fees, where we just address what student fees are. So we address what the SRO requirements are without attaching any dollar amount. So we can just have an addendum and set the dollar amount separately so that we're not confusing the two issues. So that's all we're trying to do right now is just set the financial consideration.
I think Dr. Rhodes, you had made a comment about 75% of their salaries. It's their total compensation though. Is that right? So everything that would.
Yeah, they go through bargaining just like we do. And so when we negotiate with Chief Reeves and with Sergeant Johnson. So we sit down at the table. They'll throw a percentage increase at us and they'll throw a number at us and we might caucus or we may just say we need to meet again. So actually this particular contract was not the first round of negotiation that we had. And what Mr. Simpson had actually budgeted for SROs, not knowing this is considerably less than what we were going to budget for the SROs. So, yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, I certainly think we get 75% worth
Oh,
of
absolutely.
by far. So-
Agreed.
And I mean, we all know, I mean, they're at activities constantly. I mean, they're, it's not like they're working during the school day and they go home. So we're very lucky to have, as you mentioned, a great working relationship with the city. And I think the city obviously understands the importance of having the SROs in our schools.
And is this, this is a 2-year contract? Is that correct? Okay.
Okay,
I move approval of the school resource officer contract.
Second.
roll call.
Joanne Lingery,
Aye.
Cindy O'Connor,
Aye.
Skip Altsy,
Aye.
Angela Blazy,
Aye.
Matthew Peterson,
Aye.
Emily Garrett.
Aye.
All right, now we'll go to the request for approval of the 24-25 safety and security plans. And just as a reminder, these have been put out for the board to review, and there's a lot of similarities between the different buildings. So very comprehensive, I think, and we're very lucky. I know Officer Johnson, it was several years ago that we were able to go to Kansas City and he was, or was it
Topeka.
Kansas? Topeka. And he was able to meet with their school resource director and was sent home with a bunch of materials that he was able to review and kind of develop a plan for us. In addition to Mrs. Busher had mentioned, you know, conferences and whatnot that they have gone to. So they, again, just do an excellent job, I think, of providing these things for us. Anything to add?
No, this is actually a Rule 10 requirement that boards approve safety plans. Now, we've done it a variety of ways in the district. Sometimes we just have you approve our EOP, our emergency operating procedure or plan. We are making some changes to that. We have a committee of about 32 that is internal and external stakeholders. We're required to meet annually with that committee. And we will be meeting in September. Sergeant Johnson is setting that up, and there'll be some minor changes to the EOP, and we'll probably bring that to the board for approval. But embedded in the EOP is the building safety plans as well. So we're asking for the safety plans to be approved tonight. And yes, you are right. They all follow the same template, which is really nice for us to be able to look through and know where we're going to see fire procedures or bomb threat procedures and those different types of things. So I think they are very comprehensive and very much needed.
Any other questions or comments?
No, they're thorough. They're very thorough.
Call for a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the 2024-2025 safety and security plans.
I second.
Roll call.
Cindy O'Connor, Aye. Skip Baltic.
Aye.
Angela Blazy.
Aye.
Matthew Peterson.
Aye.
Emily Garrett.
Aye.
Joanne Green.
Aye. And that passes. All right, so finally, we'll move to the future board calendar. Just a note, we talked at our executive team meeting and asked that that a few things be put on the calendar just so that people could have some planning.
I love this. Thank you. Let me make a comment.
So tomorrow we'll have Cindy and Dr. Rhodes will be at Mugs in the morning. And then we have our special board meeting and committee of the whole on September 26th. Labor Relations Conference is coming up. And then October claims audit, we'll just go that far with Emily and Matt. Also just a note, the superintendent evaluation, and this is still about a month away, but just to remind you that that will be coming out in October.
Okay.
So. And Sheila, is for the State Board of Education, that
It comes
registration
open on
opens
Wednesday.
up.
September
It's
11th.
open Wednesday.
Okay.
We just got the email today, so if you would let Sheila know, and then we'll get folks registered.
Okay, no. All right, so any questions or comments on that before we move to adjourn? All right, we'll move to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Roll call.
Skip Baltic.
Aye.
Angela Blazy.
Aye.
Matthew Peterson.
Aye.
Emily Garrett. Joanne Green.
Aye.
Cindy